Well, welcome back. You may think you know Los Angeles, but our guest today proves there's a lot more to the city than you may think.
This guy, Evan Lovett from LA in a Minute, is here with us today. I'm so excited to have you, Evan, because when I've discovered your videos, I'm like, this guy is so fascinating to watch. And before we watch some of your videos and get a flavor of what you do online in so many different platforms, tell us about your background and how you started LA in a Minute.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, it's great to be here. Thank you. Huge fan of KTLA, historic Los Angeles news station, invented the newscopter. So quite a legacy there. But I've been doing LA in a Minute since January of 2022. It's an offshoot of my love for Los Angeles, LA native, born and raised in North Hills when it was called Sepulveda. And my parents just instilled in me this huge pride in Los Angeles. My dad was a boxing manager down in South LA, so we were always driving from, everywhere. We'd go to the Forum, the Coliseum, Venice Boardwalk. My mom was a hippie, so we'd go to the Venice Boardwalk, Griffith Park. So I just get to see LA, love LA. And then when my son sort of came of age, 8, 9 years old, and developed screen time, he started going that direction that kids do into, not quite productive screen time. So I was like, look, maybe if I make some videos celebrating Los Angeles, I would be able to instill that pride in him, and that's kind of how it started, and it just took off from there and became its own entity. Yeah.
So before we look at your videos, where do we watch your videos?
Find my videos LA in a Minute on literally every platform.
Instagram,
TikTok, Twitter,
YouTube?
X,
Are you on
Threads,
YouTube?
YouTube,
Okay.
and then a podcast, In a Minute with Evan Lovett as well. But anywhere you type in LA in a Minute,
That's where
you'll
we're gonna
find
find
me.
it.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with the videos. Let's take a look at the first one we're going to show you today. And there's 1,500, right?
Yep.
So we cherry picked some to talk to you about. The first video we're going to watch today takes a closer look at just how big Los Angeles is.
Just how big is this city anyway? Well, let's get into it. All right, so the city of Los Angeles covers a total area of 503 square miles. That's 469 miles of land and 34 square miles of water. So the city extends for 44 miles on the north-south axis, from Sylmar in the north to San Pedro in the south. And 44 miles, by the way, is the same distance from San Francisco to Oakland, then back to San Francisco, then back to Oakland. The east-west axis in Los Angeles is 38 miles, which starts in the west at West Hills and stretches as far east as Alhambra, which is about the same distance from Baltimore to Washington, D.C. So look, we're in cars all the time and traffic exacerbates distances, so let's compare it to something concrete. This is New York and all 5 of its boroughs. Look how this fits inside Los Angeles with tons of room to spare. Still not impressed? This is St. Louis, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Minneapolis, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Boston, and Manhattan, all fitting inside Los Angeles. Okay, I don't want to get too crazy, but if you want to talk about Los Angeles County, it's over 4,000 square miles. Just how big is that? Well, you could fit Delaware, Rhode Island, and Washington, D.C., with still a little bit of room left over. So to close this out, let me leave you with a set of comparisons. The size of Los Angeles is the same size as 2 Chicagos, 5 Bostons, 10 San Franciscos, or 12 Parises. Now that is a huge city, my friends, a sprawling metropolis indeed. Now get out there on those freeways and take it all in.
I love it.
Yeah, so we're learning something. Little history lessons.
That's, they always say LA has no history and culture.
Right.
That's what I heard when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we are the city of the future, the city of tomorrow. So you got to kind of dig a little bit to find out the history and culture and the fun facts and the tidbits and the trivia that kind of make this city so fun on a daily basis, especially if you're sitting in traffic or seeing the freeways. Just a way to kind of brighten up the day and be like, we really do appreciate this massive, sprawling city.
So in regards to the video we just watched about how big it is and how many other cities could fit into it. So when they say, because everyone talks about how, not everyone, but when they knock LA, they're like, well, its downtown isn't that big. And I always tell people we've got like 5 downtowns. I mean, how do you respond to that?
Look, LA is a sprawling metropolis that's very difficult to wrap your arms around or even to understand. But that's the thing, is there's so many neighborhoods. There's 573 neighborhoods in Los Angeles, right? More than any other city in the United States. And they all have their different culture. They're all communities. They all have a different flavor. And your people are out there, no matter who your people are. And that's the thing that makes LA so impressive and just so incredible to embrace. 224 languages, people from 140 countries. I mean, this place is big enough for everybody, and that's something to celebrate. So yeah, maybe our downtown, you know, there are nice pockets in downtown, but it's not your quintessential downtown city. But it's part of the beauty of what makes Los Angeles unique. It's like you said, you have Century City, you have Santa Monica, you have Downey, you have all these different areas that are significant. San Fernando Valley in itself would be the 5th largest city in the United States, 1.8 million people, and that's just the San Fernando Valley. So LA is so dynamic, and that's what makes it special.
So you also taught us that we love donuts here in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes,
Let's
we
look at that.
do. Yes, we do.
First things first, Los Angeles really is the donut capital of the world. I mean, how many places have an architecturally historical donut that is recognizable across the planet? As well as a donut that you can literally drive through. I mean, is there a food more perfect for the bastion of car culture than a donut? At one count, there were more than 2,400 donut shops in Los Angeles. That means more donut shops than there are taco vendors in image-conscious Los Angeles. Wow. One donut store for every 4,000 residents compared to the national average of 1 per 30,000 residents. And guess what? This is an American dream story because 90% of them are Cambodian owned. And that's due to one man, Ted Goy, who is known as the Donut King. A former general in the Cambodian army, Noi arrived in Los Angeles as a refugee in 1975. After settling with his wife and family, Noi found a job at a gas station, which was right next to a donut shop, which was packed at all hours of the day. He thought it might be a good investment. The owners of the donut shop suggested that he go through the Winchell's Donut House Management Program, which he subsequently did. Now, Winchell's is still around, but you have to remember in the 1970s, there were more than 1,000 locations, and it was LA's first major donut chain. Noi finished the program and purchased his first shop, Christie's, in La Habra in 1977.
Love all of that. My question right off the bat is, how do you decide which stories to do? Is it just brainstorms? And then how do you research them?
You know what? You drive through Los Angeles. I drive through Los Angeles, and you're like, you know, what's the story? Whether it's a street name, Alameda, Pico, Sepulveda, they're all named after someone or something. Just the food, the people, all these things spark ideas, and I'm kind of an origin story guy, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to know, how did it get here? What does LA, why is LA this fertile place that launches so many American dream stories like Ted Noi, you know, and every culture, every type of people has these stories that they can, you know, grasp onto and say, LA, you know, enabled me or my culture, my people to succeed and to thrive. And that always motivates me. That sparks my curiosity. And the research, look, I have a friend who says you do a term paper every night.
Yeah.
Which essentially is kind of what it is, but
Yeah.
I love it. I have a background in journalism, and I love the research. I live for finding these nuggets, these tidbits, these facts, and just anything to celebrate Los Angeles gets me excited because this really is the best city on the globe.
I love it. Real quick, Kristen, how are we doing on time? Do we need to wrap it, or do we got more time?
Probably. You can talk a little bit.
All right. How about this? We have one more. If there's any song that speaks to Los Angeles, it's I Love LA. And we even have, you did a segment on that. And I want to show that to our audience because I was like riveted by it.
Yeah.
And even though I Love LA is played at the conclusion of every victorious Laker home game and every Dodger victory at Dodger Stadium, some people wonder whether the song itself was actually a celebration or worse, a sarcastic or ironic song suggesting that Randy Newman doesn't really love LA. Now, the song itself was released in 1983 and it was played rather sparingly. It was a regional hit and it didn't even crack the Billboard 200. That is, until Nike ran an ambush commercial campaign to promote the '84 Olympic Games, featuring both Carl Lewis and Mary Decker. The LA '84 Olympic Games were a smash hit, and Newman's track followed suit, becoming once and forever the anthem of Los Angeles. Well, in 1983, Randy Newman was on a flight with Eagles drummer Don Henley, who complained about the price of flying on a private jet. Newman made a quip about his rock star lifestyle, and Henley challenged him, "Why don't you write a song about Los Angeles?" Now, the timing was perfect because Newman had been ruminating on this topic since he penned an unused tune called Something to Sing About, which addressed the topics of hedonism, opulence, and arrogance. Newman ran with the theme, incorporated Los Angeles, and penned an atypical love letter to the city.
The thing that strikes me about your videos is just the you can literally hear your love of Los Angeles when you're voicing these.
Easy place to love. And look, it's like Randy Newman says, I love LA, but that's the truth. And again, I want to reinforce, it's just so dynamic. There's something amazing everywhere, whether it's Laurel Canyon, whether it's Sylmar, whether it's San Pedro, Boyle Heights. Like, the people are what make this city. But we have the geography, the weather, the mountains, the river. I mean, it is a beautiful place, and just explore and learning about Los Angeles is what really gets me fired up and motivated. And I mean, look, I love LA.
It shows, man.
Yeah.
It shows.
Thank you for sharing your all your information.
Yeah,
with
and
us.
please come back.
Absolutely.
Evan's
Please come back.
podcast, In a Minute with Evan. You can get more there. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to follow LA in a Minute on all social platforms. We'll be right back.